To me, breakfast is my most important meal. It's often the meal you play a game on. I make sure I have oatmeal, milk, and fruit. It's the fuel you use to hopefully do your best, so eating right is a big part of being a professional athlete. I wish I paid more attention to it earlier in my life. I drink a lot of Body Armor. It's a sports drink. It offers great hydration, and it's the best before/after drink for workouts. Orange mango is my favorite. Strawberry banana is a close second. I just grow a terrible mustache, so I try to use my neck beard as a substitute. And when I get lazy, I don't shave that often. My favorite memories were with my dad, throwing a football around when he came home from work. As long as kids are having fun, that's the biggest deal at the end of the day. I have 3 younger siblings, so the 4 of us were outside all the time after school playing games, making up games. My sister made up a game called roof ball. We'd play that constantly. She always beat me in it, and it made me very mad. But we were outside all the time. There is a board game called Settlers of Catan. That is what I play. I am so embarrassed. My goal is to be the best quarterback I can be for the Colts, and hope that it's good enough. I think leadership is most effective when it's your own personality, but I feel like it's a natural progression as a quarterback, as well. Biggest lesson I learned my first year in the NFL is no one gives a crap about what you did last week. This league is about what have you done for me now. That's the NFL. It's also our culture, so you keep working hard because that's the biggest truth about football. I think chocolate in moderation is not bad for you, but I eat way too much. I tell myself I'm going to eat 2 squares, and then I end up eating half a big bar. I'm a big fan of historical fiction stuff. Historical battles, gladiators, the Patriot. Watching soccer is my main hobby, really. I'm no tactician or coach, but I enjoy watching the free flow of it, the different styles, and the histories behind clubs. Like Barcelona versus Madrid, it's not just a soccer game, it's a geopolitical struggle. There are great storylines and no commercials. I do know it's great to have a support from a fan base of a team. Football is such a team game, such a team aspect to it. Good things happen, the praise is spread around, and bad things happen, usually it's not just one person's fault. He's been so successful, arguably the best quarterback ever to play the game. If you were trying to follow his footsteps, it would be incredibly difficult. I'd go crazy if I woke up every day and tried to compare myself to Peyton Manning. It's hard not to follow other careers of NFL quarterbacks in the 24/7 news at your fingertips society we live in. I'm not afraid to say I'm competitive. I do like routines. Waking up the same time, go to bed the same time. I think in any situation, so much of effective leadership is when it comes from your own personality. And I feel very fortunate to be comfortable in the Colts locker room, where people can be who they are, and they don't have to change it when they show up to work that day. I think it's nice sometimes not to be plugged in 24/7 to email and the internet and everything else. It's nice to get away. I remember playing a high school basketball game where I didn't eat anything for breakfast. I ate, like a PB&J and some chips for lunch and nothing before the game. I didn't make it through the first quarter. I wish I hadn't have learned that way, but it did leave a lasting impression. Food really is fuel, and hydration as well, but for athletic activity, you really got to take it seriously, or else it can negatively impact your performance. The sweetest thing we ever had was, animal crackers in the pantry. I think my parents sort of passively made sure that we didn't have a lot of junk food at our disposal, and I think that helped me and all my siblings growing up with how to approach nutrition and eating right. I try to eat fruit and veggies and meat and all the different categories and have a well-rounded diet. I was lucky enough at Stanford to have Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator for a year, and then Jason Tarver. I realized that as the quarterback, you have to assume some sort of leadership role because you have to talk in the huddle on every play, and you're essentially giving out orders to the team. But in my mind, I have to prove myself on the field before I can start asserting a leadership role. I'm teaming up with Quaker and Play 60 to encourage kids to eat right, stay active and do something outside for at least 60 minutes a day. I grew up in Europe, and soccer was the first organized game I played. When we moved back to the US in the middle of 4th grade, I switched to American football and stopped playing competitively until college, when I played intramurals. Houston is my team, always and forever. But with the new TV packages, it's so easy to watch every league in the world, and my overseas fandom is driven by the American guys. If Sunderland's on TV, I'll watch Josie Altidore. I try to watch Jeff Cameron at Stoke. When Clint Dempsey was at Tottenham, I watched a lot of his games. After doing some research with my agent, we found out Klipsch was an official Colts partner, and they were based in Indianapolis, which only added to my esteem for the company. I also have a passion for design and technology that developed while I was at Stanford and appreciate the quality of Klipsch's speakers and headphones. My number one focus is and will always be football. I wanted to make sure that companies I partner with not only respect that, but also make sense and are quality products. I think Klipsch is synonymous with quality in the sound industry, so it was a natural partnership. I don't know how old my phone is, but it was only $10. It is a nice subconscious way of not having the internet at your fingertips, email, Twitter or Facebook. I realize I'm very fortunate to hopefully make a lot of money playing football. I don't know if I want to abuse that privilege and make myself a larger figure than I am. It's none of our business, the sexual preference of people. So, I hope if someone's thinking about it, that if they do come out as gay and are a professional football player, and it makes them happy, and it makes their life easier, then I think they should do it. I'm a big sleep guy. I think my schedule sorta starts with sleep and making sure I get enough of it. I'm an 8+ hours guy. I would love to sleep more. I definitely try to create a routine and not stray from that routine at all, but I will take advantage of having an off morning. And I really have become a fan of the 20-minute catnap. It was nice to finish up Stanford. I think I always felt that I would be there for 4 years and graduate, and definitely didn't want to leave early. A degree was definitely a plus, and I was having a lot of fun in school. But after football, I don't know. I really did enjoy studying architecture. It was a blast. I'm definitely a football fan, so I try to stay up with how teams are doing, and you end up getting a lot of buddies that play on certain teams. I wouldn't say I watch too much of other quarterbacks. I grew up in the suburbs, so I figured, why not try downtown living? And, honestly, I love it. I've been very pleasantly surprised at how much downtown Indianapolis has to offer. I like being able to walk or ride my bike to restaurants and do different things. It's usually my mom who gets on me about my facial hair. I can't grow a good mustache, so I guess it's just a neck beard. I just have trouble growing up there. I like to play football, read some books, study. I think a punt can be a big play in a game. If it's anything like a real game, then you realize that a Pat McAfee punt that downs someone inside the 2-yard line can really swing a game. I'm all for punting in video games. Whether I'm on or off the field, I know the importance of getting enough sleep and starting the day with a wholesome breakfast like oatmeal made with milk and fruit. The thing I like most about football is it's a meritocracy. When I grew up, my father taught us the value of hard work. He wanted us to enjoy ourselves, but he also wanted to know what it took to be successful. He coached a lot of our sports teams growing up. We weren't very good, but we learned about hard work and enjoying life and your teammates. My acting chops are awful. I played 1 year of fantasy football in high school. You really get into it. It makes more fans of the NFL, and people love talking about it. They'll come up to me and say, "Why did you throw an interception? You ruined my fantasy team." Or they're happy because they got you for a bargain. I wouldn't say you worry about your health when you run. I would say a quarterback has an obligation to protect yourself as a runner, whether it's getting out of bounds, sliding or getting down, whatever it might be. I think I feel fortunate to have been very well educated in terms of strength and training while I was at school at Stanford, and I think our strength coaches here on the Colts do a great job. A big part of being able to withstand hits is making sure that you've got a good base. Leighton Landry, a safety, is in incredible physical condition, really impressive. Also Anthony Costanzo, the left tackle, I'm very impressed with him. He really sets a great example for how to stay in shape, not only during the off-season but throughout the season, which can be a struggle because of the rhythm of the way things work. The Nike Fuel Band is interesting. It measures your movements and how far you've walked and how hard you've worked that day. I prefer using when I travel. It's a fun way to see how far I've walked, how many steps I've taken when I'm walking around different cities. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.